Gordon Graham and Company presents Gordon Graham.
I'm a model of what can happen if you take control of your own life.
Over the years, Gordon Graham has helped change thousands of people all across America.
Recognized as a leader in the vacation ownership industry, Trend West Resorts has used Gordon Graham's concepts and techniques as the foundation in developing and reinforcing its culture. Discover how Gordon Graham and Company can assist your organization in reaching its full potential. Gordon Graham and Company helps thousands of people all over the world, both professionally and personally.
I met Gordon Graham in 1975 at a seminar that he gave to 1,000 Trails, and we had brought in over the previous year probably 2 or 3 different motivational speakers, and we had hired the Pacific Institute to put on a one-day training session. They sent this fellow in called Gordy Graham.
One of the most entertaining people I've ever met in my life. I never see people yawning or going to sleep in any of his seminars. He's truly, when he's on stage, he's the best.
And I was a little offended. I thought we were going to get Lou Tice, the famous Lou Tice, and here this guy shows up, and
I think they're fascinated by his transformation and his authenticity, and he has substance behind him, and so he's an inspiration to people that way.
And introduced himself as Gordy Graham. He's going to put on the seminar. I didn't say anything, but I was a little upset about it. And so I think into the first hour of the seminar, you know, this is unique. This is different. And in the second hour, when he starts talking about being a consumer of institutional services, I started to get really intrigued.
This facility, which is the isolation place called The Hole, that's kind of spiffed up now, but when you were there, it was really, I guess a hellhole is the only way to describe it. You spent 1 year in that little room right there that you can touch the walls on both sides. There's a concrete slab that you slept on.
Yeah.
I was fearful just walking in there knowing I could leave. One of the most fascinating authors that we have ever run across is a man named Gordon Graham. He's written this book called The One-Eyed Man is King, and I will ask Gordon to explain that in just a moment, exactly what the title means. And the man with us who's written this book can speak somewhat from a position of authority because, Gordon, as you say, for 17 years you were a consumer of the corrections facilities in this state.
Yeah.
A little bit of your background, I think, would help set the scene here.
Well, I started out in the state of Washington in Monroe in 1952. I think I went in there and finished doing time in, I think, 1970. And I was in and out a number of times, and during those 20 years I probably experienced almost everything that you can experience inside of a correctional environment.
I guess so. You've
got
been
a master's degree in making mistakes.
You have been stabbed, you've been shot, you did a year in isolation on bread and water, you've been involved in riots, you've were generally known as one of the bad guys by the prison administrators.
He was a badass. You know, he was transferred from Monroe to Walla Walla because that's where they all came.
By the end of the day, I was in love with the guy. I thought his message was phenomenal.
I always saw greatness in him, and so he's fulfilled that dream 30-some years. He just fulfilled it.
When I met Gordon Graham, I was essentially a failure. And I've told a lot of people that in 1975, I was 38 years old. I got a paycheck, and that was about it. I was driving an older car, lived in a house I rented for $75 a month, had 2 very young children. They were scaring me to death. I didn't know how I was going to support them. And here comes this Gordy Graham. And after hearing what he had to say, backed up by who he was a strong, strong message. And I really, basically, that day to me was a turning point in my life. And I credit Gordy for turning my life around only through example.
One of the most inspirational people I've ever met, and I've met a lot of people. For me personally, I remember being in graduate school and I had a professor who said that there are people who come into your lives and they really are truly angels because they come into your life and your life is never the same again. And that's how Gordon has been for me.
Gordon Graham and Company is pleased to present Gordon Graham to your community. Seating is limited. We hope you can attend this exclusive event that will change your life. Call today.
And one of the real key awarenesses in terms of really making life work is to recognize that you're accountable. That you cannot control all the things outside, but you can control how you react to them. And when I first got involved in this, like 38 years ago, one of the first things that came to me was, I'm accountable. If my life is gonna work, I've got to make it work myself.